Okay, good morning and welcome to the Hawaii State Senate Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection. We are live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we need to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, we will reconvene this committee and take up the remaining action on Thursday, March 21st at 10:30 a.m. in this room 229. We have 8 agendas today. We customarily observe a 2-minute testimony deadline. If you have submitted written testimony, we've reviewed the written testimony. I would highly recommend and ask that you not read verbatim your written remarks. If you would like to clarify your testimony, then you're free to do so. And you can always stand on your testimony and make yourself available for questions if members might have any. And that's it. So we'll go into our first agenda, which is a joint committee agenda, on the 9:30 a.m. agenda between the Senate CPN committee and our friends from the Committee on Agriculture and Environment. So I'll turn it over to the Agriculture Chair.
Hello, Mike Ako. I'm Mike Gabbard, Chair of the Agriculture Environment Committee. So we have 2 measures on the 9:30 agenda, and then we'll start off with House Bill 1527, relating to veterinary medicine, prohibits animal owners and their employees from performing any surgical procedures on the owners, animal or animals, provides that a violation of the prohibition is a Class C felony, clarifies that the offense of cruelty to animals in the first degree does not apply to accepted veterinary practices when the practices are performed by a licensed veterinarian. And so first up testifying will be the Department of Agriculture.
Morning, chairs, vice chairs, committee. I'm Isaac Maeda, Administrator for Animal Industry Division of Department of Agriculture, and the department will stand on its written testimony with comments, and I'm here for questions.
Thank you, Isaac. Inga Gibson with the Animal Welfare Institute.
Good morning, chairs. Inga Gibson, Animal Welfare Institute. Thank you so much. In strong support of HB 1527 with one amendment for your consideration. We believe that the House version of the bill inadvertently failed to strike on page 5, lines 6 and 7, the existing exemption for cropping or docking as customarily practiced. This would essentially, keeping this in would essentially defeat the intent of the bill, because allowing that means any person, not a licensed veterinarian, can continue to do cropping and docking, which of course is most often done to dogs. And I won't talk about the horrible cases that we've seen of these backyard surgeries performed by non-licensed individuals. So we would ask that that C be stricken so that it better conforms with the existing amendments relating to veterinary medical care, and happy to answer any questions outside of that one amendment. And that is also, the amendment that we're requesting is also what is reflected in the Senate version of the bill, which I know Senator Richards worked on. So we're also proposing it be consistent with the Senate version. Thank you.
Thank you, Inga. Stephanie Kendrick with the Hawaiian Humane Society.
Aloha, chairs, committee members, Stephanie Kendrick with the Hawaiian Humane Society. I want to thank you for considering this important measure. It's been a priority of ours for several years now, and we're really grateful to the veterinary community for working with us on this. We see terrible impacts from backyard surgeries at the Hawaiian Humane Society, as do our shelters on the neighbor islands. Everything from hernias caused by backyard C-sections to infections caused by ear flap removal. And we just want to ensure that if surgery is going to be performed on an animal in our community, it be done by someone who has the training and the licensing to perform those procedures. So I urge you to pass this measure. We're in strong support, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie. Carrie Sheehan from the Hawaii Board of Veterinary Medicine.
Good morning, chairs, members of the committee. Carrie Sheehan, Executive Officer, Hawaii Board of Veterinary Medicine. We'll stand on our written testimony, but I do wish to speak about cropping or docking as customarily practiced. We think that in order to protect our livestock management, Folks, we should leave that in and change it to custom cropping or docking as customarily practiced in livestock management, which will save the animal husbandry folks. Thank you. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Carrie. Jill Yoshishito from the Hawaii Vet Medical Association.
Good morning, committee chairs and members. My name is Dr. Jill Yoshisato. I'm a veterinarian and executive vice president of the Hawaii Veterinary Medical Association. I'm here this morning representing the HVMA and wanting to express our support for the intent of this bill, but our concerns with the wording. We do support in HB 1527 the placement of the surgery restriction language directly in section 1A2 adjacent to the current exemption for pet owners. This makes it clear that while pet owners are legally allowed to treat their own pets, they cannot perform surgery on them. We are worried with the language in SB 2562, which places the surgery restriction in its own section, section 1B. We feel that does not adequately address the exemption for the pet owners to treat their animals in section 1A. If there are any concerns with non-veterinarians performing surgery outside of pet ownership, that is already prohibited by the veterinary practice law. What we want to address is this current loophole in section 1A to allowing pet owners to perform surgery on their pets. The other concern we have is the unintended consequence on livestock practitioners in this state. So we would like to add to section 3.2 an exemption specifically for accepted livestock practices, not just cropping and docking, but they also do perform early castration on their animals or other surgical procedures, which are currently accepted. And our other requests, our last request in section 3.2 is that the wording currently exempting cropping or docking as customarily practiced to be changed to tail docking or dew claw removal within 3 days of age, as this would be a practice acceptable to veterinarians. And I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Jill. Next is Nicole Galassi from the Hawaii Cattlemen's Council on Zoom.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committees. I'm Nicole Galassi on behalf of the Hawaii Cattlemen's Council. We submitted comments on this measure, and I will highlight that the important aspect here from the cattlemen is that the language refers to pet animals to ensure that it doesn't apply to livestock, as ranchers are capable of these procedures. And we would support that specific language to state that exemption as testified by HVMA. Mahalo.
Thank you. Kathy Gogol from Animal Rights Hawaii in support. Susan Collins from the Bird and Bee Animal Sanctuary, Honoka'a, in support. Marianne Hussenbucks from the Animal Interfaith Alliance in Britain in support. And the following individuals are all in support: Sandy Wong, Joanna Milo, Jane Arnold, Eva Marjarova, Stephanie McLaughlin, Lynn Matsuao, Carol Richelieu, Renee Rabb, Jennifer Chiwa, Natalie Graham-Wood. And is there anyone else either present or on Zoom that would like to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, any questions? No questions. Okay, so we will move on to the second measure. Excuse me. HB 1688, requiring the Department of Health to conduct a statewide needs assessment and establish an advisory council to determine what would be needed to transition to a more circular system with less waste generation, more reuse, and an extended producer responsibility program for packaging materials and paper products. And the first up to testify will be the Department of Health.
Morning, chairs, vice chairs, members of the joint committees. Leo to the Department of Health. We stand on our written testimony providing comments on the measure.
Thank you. Leah Laramie from the Climate Change Commission is in support. Helen Cox from Hawaii Climate Action Coalition in support. Christopher Dean from Recycle Hawaii Clean the Pacific opposed. Christine Kubat from Recycle Hawaii opposed. Christine is on Zoom.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Chamber of Sustainable Commerce has comments. David Thorpe has comments. Charles Ice from the Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party in support. Scott Clegg on Zoom from the Product Stewardship Institute.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Scott Castle from Product Stewardship Institute as well. Tina Yamaki on Zoom from Retail Merchants of Hawaii.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
In support, Peter Blair. In support, Ted Boland from the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition and Climate Protectors of Hawaii. Morning, Ted.
Good morning, Chair Gabbard, Chair Kalole, Vice Chair Richards, Vice Chair Fukunaga. I guess I said that in reverse order, but good morning all. Thank you for members of both committees. Ted Boland on behalf of the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition and Climate Protectors Hawaii in strong support. We've been working on a bill to try to reform our solid waste handling for several years now. This bill is a compromise where it provides for a study. We've been working with producers, counties, Department of Health, and others to try to get to a compromise that would move this forward. We have a landfill crisis in capacity where every island is running out of capacity in a few years. We need to do a different form of solid waste handling. Currently, we have a linear system where we use and throw away. We need to move to a more circular system. And we also need to get the burden of costs somewhat off of the counties, which are currently paying the full freight for both locals and visitors, and also the producers who benefit from the sales of products are not paying essentially anything for waste handling, and they should, under a system of extended producer responsibility, pay some of the costs. They are also in the best position to redesign packaging in a way that would be more efficient and could reduce the amounts. So this could save costs for the counties, it could create green jobs, and it could cause a cleaner environment. So it's really the first step in a reform of our solid waste handling that we need to implement in Hawaii. We're far away from the mainland. Recycling is not as good an option as it is some other places. So we need to reduce, reuse, compost, and recycling where possible. There is a stakeholder advisory committee and stakeholder group and advisory committee that will advise the department. There are producers on all those, and I don't think we need more producers, so because we don't want them to dominate. This is a good bill. I strongly support it. Available for questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Ted. Ruth Robeson from Citizens Climate Lobby of Hawaii in support. Jolie Riff on Zoom from Hawaii Environmental Change Agent Solid Waste Reduction Task Force.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jolie Riff. I'm testifying on behalf of HECA Waste Reduction Task Force in strong support of HB 1688 today. And that's because I'm going to echo Ted a bit. The state of Hawaii lacks a sustainable solid waste management system. And our current practices of landfilling and incinerating this packaging waste are costly, detrimental to both the environment and public health. So this demands a shift away from our linear waste system that we now have, where we're taking, we're making, and we're wasting, towards a more circular economy, just maximizing the value at each point in a product's life while minimizing our resource input in our waste. So EPR policies can bring a more circular economy by placing the responsibility for a product's entire life cycle beyond the post-consumer phase back onto the producers of a product. And so this also means shifting the economic burden of waste management that's currently being imposed on taxpayers and underfunded municipalities to producers of the products. And in the 2023 legislative sessions, legislators reviewed 43 different bills in 14 states pertaining to EPR standards for plastic and packaging materials. And within the past year, Maine, Illinois, and Maryland passed legislation allocating funds for an EPR needs assessment, which is essentially the first step to implementing this sort of program. So assessing the applicability of an EPR program for packaging waste in Hawaii will not only bring the state in line with these national and global sustainability goals, but will also showcase the state's commitment to environmental responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, if I may for a second, I'd just like to again remind testifiers that this is the first of 8 agendas for this morning hearing. You can use their time to clarify your remarks, but I would please request that you not read verbatim your testimony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Laura Casio, opposed. Following are all opposed: Fred Hofer, Kuhan Paik, Diane Ware, and Janice Palma-Glenny, all opposed. The following are all in support: Jacqueline Ambrose, Brianna Rodriguez, Nainea Lowe, Marcia He, Scott Cooney, Lori Rich, Monica Stone, Maureen Brock, Michelle Mitsumori, Jennifer Navarra, Regina Gregory, Ellie Moss, and Glenn Kagamita. Anyone else in person or on Zoom that would like to testify on this measure?
Chair, we have one person on Zoom that wants to testify.
Thank you. State your name, please.
Oh, Scott Clegg. So, chairs, co-chairs, members of the committee, my name is Scott Clegg. I'm here today representing the Product Stewardship Institute. We do stand on our testimony that we submitted. However, I would like to emphasize or clarify a little bit one of the important factors of this bill as it's been amended in the HD2 form. We think that it really does a good job of adding in additional stakeholders, setting up an advisory council, and that's really important because EPR programs are not one size fits all. They need to be carefully designed for each state, and we think, especially as Hawaii, as we've heard, as we know, is an island economy, and we think those will be very helpful in making that happen. So thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm available for questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's it. Members, are there any questions? Senator McKelvey?
I'll keep it real fast, Ted, because I know we have many agendas. Just real quickly, you know, I guess my concern is the fact that the counties aren't a part of this and are not contributing to this effort. And that's where the rubber hits the road, right? They collect tipping fees. There are solid waste disposal entities. Don't you think the county should be more of the tip of the spear on this issue, considering what a prominent player they are and the fact that there could be some contributions from them towards this effort?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Absolutely. The counties have been involved and should be involved. They are a major player and they are going to end up with, they have all the costs now. So a lot of the point of this bill is to get some of the costs off of the county taxpayers.
Well, the counties generate fees for those costs. That's why they run the program. So, it's, you know, that we're stepping in with limited state resources because of things that have happened to something where the county has the ability to do it. That's my concern. So.
The resources here are for a study essentially managed by DOH, and it's to help the counties to move forward with a program that will save them costs. That's really the point of the bill.
But shouldn't they want to move forward on their own to save their own costs?
The counties have limited resources and have had the opportunity to move forward and haven't. I think it's hard to redesign your program for waste handling when you have a tradition of doing it a certain way. There needs to be some leadership, and there needs to be a consensus here built with the producers and the counties, DOH and others, and that's what this bill tries to do.
I'm seeing a common thread where environmental issues are being advanced at the state level unilaterally because the county simply doesn't want to do it, and that's I got issues because we give them a political subdivision, and we should be focusing our lobbying and education efforts on the mayors and the county councils of the county so they can see the value in moving forward and being the leader in this. You know what I'm saying?
I think I take your point. I would say that the Department of Health, which manages all the solid waste on the state level, is in a better position to manage a working group like this, a study group, that can determine how we should move forward with the county's input. It's not state versus counties. It's the state helping the counties to move forward when they're all different. You know, some counties have curbside recycling, others have almost nothing. So we need something at the state level, I think, to manage this. And a forum for all the stakeholders to get together and do this right.
I think we support the end goal, but I think we have very different ways of getting there. Thank you, Chair.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chair, question? Department of Health? Thank you. Do you guys have the bodies to do this? And what does the $1 million get us?
Well, the study, the plan to do the study is we're gonna contract out for it. So we're gonna actually select a contractor We're not gonna be doing this in-house, because, yeah, we wouldn't have the bodies.
So what the county has already done already, they would just apply that in the committee that is part, or the working group that worked on it? Is that what the forecast is?
So, or no, well, the needs assessment is for entirely new program, EPR program, extended producer responsibility. So it's, if you want to look for maybe an analog, you could look to like our existing electronic waste program, where the producers are required, producers that sell e-waste, well, electronics into the state, when it becomes e-waste, they're required to have recycling programs in place for citizens to drop off their e-waste for no cost to be recycled. So that's taking that model and applying it to packaging, which, there's no sort of that kind of program applied to packaging right now.
Okay. So on the electronics, on the recycle, is that something that you folks also have taken in as well, and modeling it like this?
Yeah, it's a similar model, yes. So that's a program that DOH operates right now.
Oh, so you guys already operate the
Administer, yeah, we
electronics?
administer, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think we'll go into decision-making. You want to discuss or can we just go into? Let's go in. Okay, so we'll, on the first measure for.
Members, do you want to recess? Yeah, that's
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a recess.
Yeah. Okay, on HB 1527 relating to veterinary medicine, the chair's recommendation will be to pass with the proposed amendment from the Animal Welfare Institute. Page 5, line 6, striking the C, cropping or docking as customary practice. And keep in mind that if your amendments are not added, that this, if the bill passes, it will be going on to the JDC committee. There'll be another opportunity. But I know I wanted Senator Richards, he wanted to add something to the committee report.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Appreciate that. So through the testimony, Dr. Yoshisato from HVMA, there's some language in there I think we could really do. So I'd ask that this be included in our committee reports as we move it on, because I think it'll actually clarify a lot of things for us.
Okay. The chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Black pen. Thank you. Pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair is going to vote with reservations as we're working out the language. Senator DeCoit?
Reservations.
Senator Rhodes is excused, and Senator Awa?
No.
No. Chair, you have 3 in favor. Motion is adopted.
Thank you, members. And then on to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
CPN, same recommendation. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey.
Reservations?
Senator Richards.
Reservations?
Senator Awa.
No.
The measure is adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, and then on to HB 1688 relating to the environment. The chair's recommendation will be to pass with the amendments from DOH. That's section 2D, page 8, line 15. The Department of Health shall complete and submit the needs assessment, including any proposed legislation, to the legislature by December 31st, 2027, and also the request for $1 million in appropriations. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Thank you, Chair. On matter HB 1688, House Draft 2, Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCoit? Senator Rhodes is excused, and Senator Awa? Aye. Chair, you have 4 in favor. Motion adopted.
Thank you, members.
CPN, same recommendation. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey.
Because of what I outlined in the committee hearing, reservations for now.
Okay. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Awa.
Aye.
Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
And this concludes the 9:30.
Okay, good morning and welcome. We are on our Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 9:35 a.m. joint committee agenda between the Senate Committees on Commerce and Consumer Protection and the Committee on Transportation and Culture and the Arts to hear HB 1997 HD1 relating to the inter-island transport of hydrogen. This measure authorizes the Public Utilities Commission to establish a discounted rate by tariff for water carriers that engage in the inter-island transport of renewable hydrogen. First up, we have the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs Division of Consumer Advocacy offering comments. Good morning.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. My name is Michael Angelo, Executive Director of Division of Consumer Advocacy. Stand by our written testimony, providing comments available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you for standing on your testimony. Next up, we have the Hawaii State Energy Office with comments.
We'll stand on our written testimony with comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much for standing on your testimony. We have the Public Utilities Commission offering comments. Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha, Chair Keao Kolole, Chair Lee, Vice Chair Fukunaga, and Vice Chair Inoue, as well as members of the Senate committees on the Senate committee. Sorry. My name is Andrew Okabe. I'm a utility analyst for the Public Utilities Commission. I'm here on behalf of Chair Leo Sanchin of the Public Utilities Commission. I'm available. I stand on the Commission's written testimony offering comment on HB 1997 HD2. I'm available for any questions from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Stan Osterman in support. Do we have him online?
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Okay. That's all the registered testimony we have on this measure, HB 1997. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Okay, I'd also like to note we have written testimony from Hawaii Gas offering comments, 350 Hawaii in opposition, and Glenn Kagamita in support. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, do we need to recess?
Can I? PUC.
Okay.
Thank you. There's one concern I personally have as a neighbor island, the southernmost island in the chain. If this rate, discounted rate will take into effect, we know that the rates for other users is going to be increased as far as cargo is concerned. Now, we have not been in a situation with hydrogen yet. Are we putting the cart before the horse?
Vice Chair, I'm actually not sure whether there is a commercial hydrogen kind of contingent right now, and if there is, maybe this would be appropriate. But we can always consider this at any rate case going forward, and that was that's our position in the testimony. So we can consider it.
Right.
Doesn't mean we are required to take it up.
Yeah, so it's kind of premature at this point in time. I'm a supporter of hydrogen, but if you look at what our users from the neighbor islands are paying for cargo, being shipped, Young Brothers, Matson, Pesha, it's going to hurt. So, and I think it's a little premature at this point in time.
I can understand the sentiment.
Thank you,
Vice Chair. Thank you.
Senator McKelvey.
Yes. I know you're pitch hitting here. But I mean, don't you think at this time, if we're going to be doing preferential rates for shippers, we should be looking to help our people in the agricultural industry first because of the impact that these shipping costs are having so far as food sustainability and agriculture goes?
Sorry. So Senator McKelvey,
they got a fan.
there is the Island Fresh discount that is already in rates. We could always potentially look at that again if that's necessary.
I think this would be a better vehicle to do that than what is proposing now, I guess is what I'm trying to say, given the importance of ag to our communities and the potential of something potentially that may or may not show up.
I understand, Senator Kelby.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and to add, Chair, as well, there's ag rates as well. But I think at this point in time, with housing so important on the neighbor islands, shipping building materials is going to be very costly as well. So to add to my comments from our colleague from Maui as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you, Senator McKelvey.
Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I think we're prepared to make a recommendation on this measure, HB 1997 HD1. So we'll note the concerns in the questions in the committee report, but the recommendation is to pass this measure out with a defective effective date of July 1, 2040. Again, we're going to note the concerns and keep the vehicle moving for discussion purposes. Any questions or comments? Senator McKelvey.
I appreciate you putting that in there, but given what's going on in Maui in particular, I'm going to go with a very strong reservation. Thank you.
So noted. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey.
WR.
Okay, Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Awa.
Aye.
Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much, and we will adjourn that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll yield to the transportation.
Committee of TCA, same recommendation. Any discussion? If not, Vice Chair.
Chair's recommendation on HB 1997 House Draft 1 to pass with amendments. Chair Lee.
Aye.
Okay, Vice Chair goes with reservations. Senator Elefante.
Aye.
Okay, Senator Kanuha is excused. Senator Awa.
Aye.
Okay, measure is adopted, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you. Okay, good morning and welcome. We're here for our Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 9:36 a.m. joint agenda in conference room 229 between the Senate Committees on Commerce and Consumer Protection and the Committee on Water and Land to hear HB 2475, House Draft 2 relating to commercial ocean activity. And I will turn it over to the Waterland Chair for testimony.
Thank you, Chair. With regards to HB 2475 relating to commercial ocean activity, this provides that advertisements or offers for commercial activity are prima facie evidence that the owner disseminated or directed dissemination of such advertisements or offers, and the commercial activity is operated at the location advertised or offered. DLNR.
Good morning, Chairs, committee members. Ed Underwood, Administrator with the Division of Boating and Ocean Recreation. Department stands on its testimony in support of this measure. I'm here to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hawai'i Fishing and Boating Association, Rick Gaffney, our Kona friend. IT, anyone on Zoom?
No one.
Okay.
I'd like to testify, please.
Is that for Rick Gaffney?
No, this is Maui.
Okay, are you with the Hawai'i Fishing and Boating Association?
I'm not. I'm Kainashiki.
Bianca, is that you? Oh, okay. Proceed then.
Thank you.
You have a minute. Go, proceed.
Thank you. Kainashiki, testifying from Maui in full support of providing DLNR further tools to regulate commercial operations. They proliferate and cause great harm to our environment and our residents' quality of life. And DLNR needs to have the tools in order to have better enforcement. So fully support. Mahalo.
Okay. Thank you, Kai. Rick Gaffney sends testimony in opposition. Olan Fisher testifying for Kua Aina Ulu Au Mo or Kua. In support, Pamela Tumpap, Maui Chamber of Commerce in support. And we do have, let's see, 6 others in support as well, 1 opposition from Christine Chung. Any one here wishing to speak to HB 2475? Okay. Hearing none, then members, we don't need to go into decision.
Oh, any questions?
Yeah. Any questions? Any comments? Questions on Waterland Committee or CPN? No? Okay, IT, we don't need to go into recess. We'll proceed then with decision-making for the Committee on Water and Land, where on HB 2475, House Draft 2 relating to commercial ocean activity, Chair's recommendation is to pass with the amendments just effecting the date to July 1st, 2050. Committee on Water and Land, any discussions? Hearing none, Vice Chair for the vote. Chair goes aye.
Okay, Chair's recommendation to pass with amendments HB 2475 HD2. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang is excused. Senator McKelvey.
Yes.
Senator Favela is
Aye.
Madam Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you.
For CPN committee, same recommendation. Any comments or concerns? Okay, chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Of the CPN members present, are there any objections or reservations?
No.
Thank you, Senator Awa. Senator Richards?
No, no, aye.
Okay, Senator McKelvey?
Yes.
Thank you. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned. Okay, good morning and welcome to our Tuesday, March 19th, 9:37 a.m. joint committee agenda between the Committees on Commerce and Consumer Protection and the Committee on Energy, Economic Development and Tourism to hear HB 2686, House Draft 1, relating to the stabilization of property insurance. This measure amends the laws relating to the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund and the Hawaii Property Insurance Association. It expands the Hawaii Property Insurance Association's authority to include the issuance of property insurance other than fire insurance for certain real properties organized as a condominium. It reinstates the special mortgage recording fee and explicitly authorizes the Hawaii Property Insurance Association to issue property insurance policies to certain condominiums outside of area designated for coverage currently by the Hawaii Property Insurance Association. It also mandates that the HPIA member insurers recoup assessment costs. It amends specific coverage limits, funds capitalization amounts, and assessment percentages by deleting specified dollar amounts and percentages, and authorizes the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund and HPIA boards to recommend appropriate amounts and percentages to the insurance commissioner. First up, we have the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority in support. Thank you for standing on your testimony. DCCA Insurance Division with comments.
Right, on behalf of Commissioner Ajo, we stand on our.
Thank you for standing on your testimony. Hawaii Department of Taxation with comments.
Good morning, Chairs, Vice Chairs, members of the committee, Harrison Kirk with DOTAX. We stand on our written testimony providing comments and administration.
Thank you. Thank you for standing on your testimony. State Farm with comments.
We stand on our written testimony.
Thank you very much. Hawaii Insurers Council in support. Good morning.
Good morning. Chairs, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. We stand on our testimony. This is Michael Nefrietti, Hawaii Insurers Council. I want to add a couple of things. The bill was created by a working group, and during this process, the members had the opportunity to raise objections. It's unfortunate some objections are now only coming up in testimony. The key issue here, this bill addresses an insurability and a banking issue, and it is not appropriate for only insurers, consumers, and businesses, like buying workers' comp, that would have to fund this. People that benefit from the presence of insurance should also be funding this, and available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hawaii Realtors in support. Good morning.
Good morning. Just wanted to clarify our testimony that we do support the intent of the bill. As you've indicated, our concerns are specific to the funding sources of the bill, and we're asking to remove conveyance tax, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Hawaii Credit, let me see. Hawaii Bankers Association in support. Thank you very much. Tax Foundation with comments.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Oh, bummer. Let me see. We have late testimony from the Hawaii Credit Union League in support. Okay. We also have written testimony in total from 28 individuals and entities in support, 2 in opposition, and 5 offering comments. Is there anyone else who would like to testify on this measure? Members, questions? Vice Chair.
For Insurance Division, if you could kind of respond to some of the questions that I think we talked a little bit about during the earlier Senate bill discussions. Did you have representatives of condo associations or condo properties participating in the discussions to identify specific insurance challenges that they were facing?
Okay, so that would have been Commissioner Ito. I'm one of his branch managers. So it's my understanding that that industry is involved. I mean, excuse me, representatives that you described are involved.
Okay, so in the bill on pages 20 to 21, amending sections 43121-102 by adding new definitions relating to condo properties, who currently determines whether a condominium property is in insurable condition or can be repaired or renovated under a specific timetable?
Right, and I think that the devil's in the details. It is not specifically in the bill, and I think it's the plan of operation that's really gonna have to.
Okay, well, who would oversee that? Would the Insurance Division oversee that?
I think building inspection needs to be left to professional building inspectors, in my opinion. So the Insurance Division does not have the staff to, inspect buildings. But the idea is there would be some type of framework, to make that determination.
Okay, because one of the questions that condo associations have posed to me is whether or not, if a building is deemed to be uninsurable, are condo associations told, what the reason is for that determination? And if that information is not released to the condo properties, how are they able to move forward with, correcting or repairing or otherwise addressing that concern? And that's where I would see the Insurance Division as perhaps needing to play, a role in ensuring that, if a building is determined to be in an uninsurable condition, that somebody is out there looking to help ensure that the properties learn why that is the case so that they can correct the problem.
Okay, I will note that and take that back to discuss internally, but may I just make a comment on the process? I would say is that, so it's our understanding that when an insurance agent goes to, help the owner, the condo association, in securing a quote, one of the steps that probably should be taken is to hire, for the association to hire a professional building inspector. And it's through that process where, both the agent, the insurance company would become aware of the condition, as well as, what needs to be fixed, limits that need to be purchased. So it would be through that process, which the Insurance Division currently does not oversee. That is really, by associations.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope that, as this bill moves along, that we can tighten up those sections, because I think the Insurance Division's role is going to be very important in, providing that level of oversight so that buildings can find out, what the causes are and what they need to do to correct the problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Senator Favela.
You know, that is understandable, but you know what the problem is? If I like insure a living in one condominium and I want to insure it, usually they send somebody out, making sure that I get the fire alarms or I get the certain things. Insurance not gonna cover them, and they deny. So by telling the condominium guys, hey, go hire one contractor, what if you guys don't agree what the contractor said? You guys come back, let me finish. They say clean bill of health, but then there's infractions on the insurance side saying, oh, no, we're not gonna cover, can I cover this condo because this and this is wrong? So then you go make the condominium guy spend the money, then you guys still gonna come back and say, hey, the extinguisher is too far from the door, and we're not gonna give you guys insurance. So isn't it we be more proactive than you guys give them guidelines or be with them to do the walkthrough so that they get kind of one guideline on what they need to fix going forward?
Yeah, Senator, so I think you make good comments about the various roles that people play and the advice that we rely on, right? If you either are a unit owner or you're the association trying to secure the insurance. And so the insurance agent, I think, really needs to be involved. And at the condo master level, it is expected, you know, that the insurance agent has a certain level of knowledge, right, and information. And so a building inspector and, you know, who hires the building inspector or the quality of the inspector, I think it does matter. And so even recommending levels of coverage, whether or not you're fully insured or, you know, doing some type of risk retention where the association may take on more risk by increasing deductibles, all those things, I think the client does rely on the insurance professionals. And those would be the insurance agent. So while the insurance division does regulate the agent, we do regulate agents here in the insurance division. But for us to be involved, I think that that's it's a interesting suggestion, and I will definitely take it back and express your concerns of why you think it needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
I'll also note, members, the inclination on this measure is to defer decision-making to Thursday, March 21st at 10:30 a.m. because of the numerous issues that have been highlighted in the testimony. But members are still free to ask questions. Senator Kim.
Yes. So the issue of targeting specific types of transactions or groups, is that something of concern that we should be looking at?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Could you?
Targeting specific types of transactions or groups of property owners. Is that what the bill is also doing?
Well, I think.
Senator, do you mean for property insurance coverage, or do you mean for the tax provisions?
As far as the conveyance tax, there's a revenue generating tax. So,
was that what Mike Onofredi spoke to? So, okay, I do apologize. I am not well-versed in the funding mechanism portion of it, but I can certainly take your question back to.
Okay, and the other concern I have is the special funds, the intent of special funds, and are we trying to subsidize special funds?
I think again, I would say that the devil's in the details, and I think funding is something that I think still needs to be worked out, right? To get our arms around the magnitude of the problem and then work backwards into funding.
Because whenever we work with special funds, you know, we have to have nexus whenever we raise these funds and where the funds are going, where things are coming from.
Right.
And so I know we've been in the legislature pretty loose about this stuff, but still it opens up to litigation. So I think those things are being addressed.
Sure, okay. Yes, I will note that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jen.
So I guess I'm trying to find the devil in the details. If the bill is this bill aimed at helping condominiums? And if we do that, what will it have an effect on the cost of insurance for other property owners?
Right, so the intent of the bill, to my understanding, is to, you know, help fill the gap for condo masters, which is not the unit owners, but the association that covers the exterior. There's a market availability issue. And so, you know, to the extent that HPIA takes on that role to provide this insurance, that is, you know, for properties that may not be in the best shape, and given the assessment mechanism that is currently within statute, then I would say that yes, I mean.
So it would have an effect on other property owners? Thank you.
Of all property owners,
Okay,
really.
thank you.
Members, any other questions?
The one for DOTAX.
DOTAX. Actually, while I have you here, I'm going to skip and I'm going to. Okay, so in the hearing on the Senate companion measure, the estimated exposure of liability in the condominium market when we had that hearing, according to the testifiers, was estimated at around 400 potential buildings with a potential top line liability of $40 billion. Has that number been clarified or narrowed down in the time since we had that hearing?
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, but I think one of the concerns about this type of bill is that it seems to me it may be a moving target, right? I mean, as buildings continue to age or as some certain associations, you know.
Well, so are those still the top line? Are those still the top line worst case scenario numbers that we're dealing with? Potentially up to 390 buildings and potentially up to $40 billion of exposure.
It's my understanding at this point that that is the data that the division's working with, yes.
Because at the filing of the measure, those top line numbers were several orders of magnitude larger. And so it's come down significantly.
Okay.
And so these questions about the taxes that are being proposed to be implemented in order to fund out the program are going to be subject to those top line numbers.
Right.
And it's, I think, very important for this committee to understand what those are.
Okay.
And whether they will change before we get further along in the session.
That makes perfect sense, yes. Also, I'll take that back,
Okay.
and we'll get an answer for you either today or tomorrow on that.
Okay.
That very question.
And so as a follow-up, is there, the bill proposes to use the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund in the reserve calculation for the program. And in the prior hearing, the discussion around whether that, whether the funds in that fund are sufficient to get the program off the ground were discussed. And so I guess this question is two parts, but is that still the proposal that these committees should consider? And if the corpus of the relief fund is being considered, how much more money needs to be raised in order to fill out the program and get it off the ground?
Right, another excellent logical question, and I apologize, I don't have the answer right now, but we will get that for you.
Okay, because again, these are,
It's critical.
the tax questions are, I think, more appropriately asked in the Ways and Means Committee, which is next.
Right.
But, you know, there's some pretty obvious discomfort with the provisions in the bill when we do not have the numbers available to determine whether we should go forward with the proposal or not.
Okay, we'll get you an answer today or tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Is tomorrow okay?
So again, the
Today?
inclination is to defer decision-making on this measure to Thursday morning.
Okay,
But an assessment of how much money we need to raise for how long and whether the reserve amount in the relief fund, which is I think $169 million,
Right.
is sufficient to put together a program to account for that top-line exposure.
right.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
We'll get an answer for you.
Okay, okay, so we'll yield to the question for DOTAX now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, Co-Chair.
So I just get one question. Although many of the percentages are unspecified in Part 2 and 3 of the bill, what is your best estimate of the tax and revenue impact if we pass this bill?
Well, that's a question I can't answer. There's too many unknowns. I'd be guessing. We can ask Research and Development Department to look at it and see if we can come up with an answer for you, but I don't have that number today.
Just to explain why we can't do that. Currently, as drafted, the bill creates a new subsect of these sort of transient vacation rentals based on the definitions in the counties. Right now, we don't track that information. All TAs, all transient accommodations, the money just comes in, but we don't really separate those out. There's nothing in the forms right now that would identify them based on their county classifications. So when we're asked to provide a revenue estimate of what this new class, these transient vacations would bring in, we can't even identify that number at this point. We can try to contact the counties and work with them, but it's uncertain whether even they would have that information at this point, whether they keep a track of it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Senator McKelvey.
Sorry, I didn't jump in there, Chair. Couldn't you just see who's paying TAT and use that as your base to try to estimate some kind of revenue generation from transient accommodation? I mean, sorry, from these kinds of rentals?
It wouldn't be that simple. I mean, if you look
But
at.
this gives you something. It would be kind of simple from the state's perspective, because those are your known short-term rentals that are paying the TAT, which they're legally required to do, right?
It's really not that simple. I mean, I could give you a number right now, but whether or not it's accurate, it would depend on how many are actually going to pay into this new higher rate of tax. I mean, right now we're asked to figure out how many are going to be paying a higher rate. We can look at everybody paying the current rate, but if you're asking us not only to apply a higher rate and look at revenue estimates, but also take that subsect out and apply that higher rate to that unknown number, then we're really just grasping at straws right now. So without that data, it's really difficult to come up with that estimate.
Okay, so the class is there's too many other entities within this class that can kind of conflagrate.
Right. So, I mean, we looked at this bill deeply as to figure out what transient vacation rentals would be to try and determine what that class would look like. Based on all of the different county ordinances, we're looking at short-term rentals that are not including, hotels, bed and breakfast, but really, TVUs located outside resort zoning was another bill that we contemplated. But right now, it's not as if the transient accommodation reporting information has you check a box and say, okay, we're not in a resort zone, we're not in a hotel, we're not a bed and breakfast that's certified. We can go back and check it, but the list of all of these properties is pretty extensive. So to do that, it would take, I would think we'd be hard pressed to provide that number before decision making on Thursday. I'm sorry.
If the regulatory landscape were different, in which the county had that information, then you could just pull it.
Certainly, I think if the counties did have that running list of what they classify as transient vacation rentals under their own codes, then certainly we could pull that and cross that with our TAT numbers. But at this point, it's not something that we have, and it's not something that the counties seem to be producing publicly for us to look at.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
So how long would it take you guys to put all that information together if we are to fill in the blank? I mean, that's really, the question is, we're trying to fill in the blank. So how long would it take you with what manpower?
Well, our tax research planning group is already working on these. It would be another thing for them to look at, but it'd really be contingent on what the county's data is. If the counties have a extensive and detailed, database already set in place, then we could turn this around. I'd hope to say within a couple of weeks, but if they don't have that data, if they have to compile it, if they have to distill it down or request information from the people that are in the county, then that could be extensive too. I mean, if you're looking at other counties that are pressed for resources like Maui, and then you look at, the stuff that they're working on too in the middle of session. It really would depend on their manpower, because it's not data that we keep. We'd have to rely on the counties to produce that data for us.
Oh, yeah, I get Jen subpoenaed into. No, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. I am going to ask the Hawaii Insurance Council for a question. So Mike, in the Senate hearing on the companion, or in the hearing on the Senate companion, you mentioned that you are an actuary.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, I conflated multiple issues in the prior question, but I am wondering if from your standpoint, you can provide some clarity on some of those top line numbers so that we can have a better understanding of how much money it is we are actually trying to raise here.
Yeah, I think when we've looked at it, we thought that for the HPIA piece, that something around $10 million made sense. Now for HHRF, the initial assumption, assumption is generally a bad thing, was that we had the corpus of HHRF money that was available. In the absence of that, if for whatever reasons that money is not available, 10 million is probably a reasonable amount for HHRF. The one risk we have is there's a lot of fragility around hurricane coverage for single family homes. Not a lot of markets in Hawaii that write it. And if one of them decides to withdraw or limit what they write, all of a sudden HHRF could get a flood of single family homes, in which case the need for surplus would be significantly greater. So I think that's the big wild card here, is if you do have a market withdrawal for some reason, that you'll need more surplus to have available to buy reinsurance to do the things you need to do if all of a sudden you've got thousands of single family homes in there.
Okay, thank you. Members, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Onofrieri. With respect to, say, the number of condos that this measure is actually looking at, isn't the number of condos relatively, well, not small, but it is smaller than the groups of other disaster-related homeowners that potentially are at risk of losing insurance or have lost coverage?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question, Senator. The bill, the first part of the bill dealing with HPIA is to deal specifically with insurability due to water damage issues. And that is a smaller subset, but it's a growing subset because of the age of our condominium stock. The hurricane piece of it is dealing with a banking issue because in some cases, buildings don't have hurricane coverage up to the value of the building. So those are the issues the bill is specifically addressing, and it'll also be there in the event that there is a hurricane insurer that withdraws from the market.
So is your estimate of the total number of properties that would fall in one or both of those categories within a range of 500 properties?
The number that we've heard from bankers on the hurricane issue is around 400. The sick building, for lack of a better phrase, number is probably a little bit higher than that, but it's not completely clear, right? Do you say it's the whole universe of buildings constructed from the 1960s through the 1980s? Because that's a much larger number. Some buildings are well maintained. Others we found are not.
Okay, so I guess the question is, how do we get our arms around the scope of the problem when it's difficult to identify how many buildings and how many properties we're talking about? Because I think that goes to Chair Kalole's question as to the magnitude of the funds needed, to recapitalize.
Right, and that's why we've said that 10 million for HPIA makes sense, because a lot of the coverage, they are going to go to facultative reinsurance markets to make the purchase, so they will not retain that risk net. We would think the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund would do something similar, and they can do that for condo buildings. They really can't do that for individual single-family homes. Okay. And that's why there's a lot more variability.
Okay, thank you.
Members, any other questions? Okay. Yeah, we're in Q&A at this point. Thank you. If there are no questions, then the recommendation on this measure is to defer decision-making on HB 2686 HD1 until Thursday, March 21st at 10:30 a.m. in this room 229. And we will adjourn that measure. Okay, good morning and welcome. We are going to open on our Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 9:45 a.m. CPN agenda for decision-making on two measures which were heard on a prior day. We're going to move these measures out because we have a lot of testimony on the other two agendas. The first is HB 2056 relating to insurance. This measure establishes a state reinsurance exploratory working group. The recommendation is to defer decision-making on this measure for 2 more days because we are still wrapping our heads around what we want the working group to do. So we'll defer decision-making on this measure to Thursday, March 21st at 10:30 a.m. in this room 229. And the last measure on this 9:45 a.m. agenda is HB 2653 HD1 relating to the estate tax. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments and keep it moving. The first set of amendments, essentially the amendments address the points raised by the Department of Taxation in their testimony. So we'll make amendments to address the concern that subsection A, that there's clarification necessary for the definitions of qualified family-owned business interests. On pages 6 and 7, we'll delete in subsection A1 or qualified heir of the decedent. On page 8, we'll amend subsection C1 to add or qualified heir of the business interest after the decedent. On page 8, before section 3, we'll add a new definition for qualified heir. As follows: qualified heir means the same as it is used in section 2032A, subsection E1 of the IRS code, Internal Revenue Code. And to address the applicability to decedents dying and taxable transfers occurring after December 31st, 2024, we will amend section 5 to push back the applicability date 1 year. We'll keep the bill's effective date defective, and we will keep the measure moving. Any discussion? Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Support your recommendation. You know, I know that there was a lot of discussion in the prior hearing regarding the inequity of this measure, but I think that those who have been advancing the bill are really speaking for many of the small family-owned businesses, so I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Senator McKelvey.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of inequity in that there are many small businesses who could use this kind of help, but I'm not getting it. However, because I do understand this is an evolving conversation and you have made several amendments, I'm going to go with the serious reservations for now, but I just wanted to put that on the record before the vote.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Awa. Excused. Measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. We will adjourn that. Okay, good morning and welcome back. We are on Agenda 5 of this Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 CPN hearing. This is the 9:40 a.m. agenda. It's a joint hearing between the Senate Committees on Commerce and Consumer Protection, Energy, Economic Development, Tourism, and Government Operations to hear HB 1838 HD2 relating to zoning. This measure allows counties to enact a zoning ordinance to amortize or phase out non-conforming single-family transient vacation rental units over a reasonable period of time. I'd like to note that we have 40 individuals who signed up to submit testimony on this measure, and we have about 20 minutes left in this hearing. So as is our customary request in the CPN committee, we have received and reviewed all of the testimony that has been submitted in writing. In total, there were 327 individuals who submitted testimony in support, 198 in opposition, and 5 with comments. Because of the number of testifiers who signed up, we will abide by a 1-minute testimony limit. And again, if you submit in written comments, we would strongly recommend that you use your time to clarify your testimony, and please do not read verbatim off of your written remarks that we've already reviewed. First up, we have the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and Support.
Aloha, my
Morning.
Grant Nakaya with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We stand on a written testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Airbnb with comments. I think, yeah, well, you can come up. Go ahead, David.
Thank you, Chair.
Good morning.
David Louie on behalf of Airbnb. I've submitted written testimony. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll be very brief. There are serious constitutional questions.
I think we actually have you in opposition, right?
Yes, in
Okay.
opposition. And
Yes.
so thank you for that. Because of those serious constitutional concerns, I realize this is perhaps a popular bill, but this will lead to substantial litigation and may impair the legal rights of people who have relied upon prior legislation and bills. Thank you very much, Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Hawaii Realtors in opposition. Good morning.
Good morning, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. My name is Lindsay Garcia from the Hawaii Realtors. Just wanted to specifically clarify our opposition here. First, we oppose giving the counties the power to phase out legal short-term rentals because we believe that they are legal small businesses that pay their taxes to help fund important programs, such as one of the previous measures that we just recently discussed on the previous agenda. Secondly, phasing out legal rentals will not affect the proliferation of illegal rentals. Counties already have the power to make reasonable regulations and conduct enforcement. We believe efforts to address community concerns should focus on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Edward Jones for Costro in opposition. Good morning.
Morning. Aloha, members, committees. My brother-in-law has advanced Parkinson's disease. He's 71 years old. Glenn requires 24/7 care, even with me assisting him full-time and Ohana pitching in. The cost of professional caregiver support exceeds $100,000 a year. Owner-occupied renting has been legal for the entire history of our state. Your vote today to continue HB 1838 will change that. It will enable the unconstitutional Honolulu Ordinance 22-7 and will have the effect to drive many of our kupuna from their island home by taking their livelihoods. I'll conclude by saying I have proposed alternative language to exempt
Thank you very much.
owner-occupied renting. I hope you will consider that today.
Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Suzanne Young in opposition. Michael Hay of the Oahu Short-Term Rental Alliance in opposition.
He's
Do we have
present
him
on,
online?
he's on Zoom, Chair.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm
Good
ready.
morning.
All right. Aloha chairs, vice chairs, committee members, Michael Hay, one of the directors of OSTRA, the Oahu Short-Term Rental Alliance, and we vehemently oppose this very flawed bill. OSTRA submitted written testimony, so I'm just going to hit a couple fine points in the last 50 seconds. Government officials at the city and county of Honolulu have made it clear publicly that they will use the passage of this bill to shut down more mid and short-term rentals. This includes reversing the court injunction against the city and county of Honolulu that now allows for 30-day month-to-month rentals. These monthly rentals are a necessary component of our housing market. They serve displaced residents like the Marco Polo fires, the Red Hill crisis. Our rentals accommodate those who travel between islands for work, medical reasons to visit family, as well as houses medical personnel who there is already a shortage for in the islands. As a representative of OSTRA, I ask you to take the position, vote no on this very flawed bill to wipe out our affordable temporary housing.
Thank you very
for
much.
your consideration.
Next, we have the Realtors Association of Maui in opposition.
Aloha, good morning. My name is Gary Saldana. I'm speaking on behalf of the Realtors Association of Maui. We stand on our written testimony in opposition to this measure, but I just do want to point out the fact that the mayors, the council, and the county should not request a measure that would give them greater authority in their legislative packages for phasing out of short-term rentals. Furthermore, according to our Maui Department of Planning, they have requested that parcel location data for TATs be provided so that they can focus on illegal operations. And in fact, Mayor Bisson has announced in the state of the county that one of his goals is to target illegal short-term rentals. So we ask that you please provide TAT parcel information and refocus your energies to illegal operations. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Kahea Zeitz of High Mast Alliance in opposition.
Aloha chairs. I can't seem to start my video, but my name is Jennifer. I'm stepping in for Kahea and testifying on behalf of High Mast. We did provide written testimony, so I'll be brief. I just wanted to point out that the Hawaii Tourism Authority found that more than 1.9 million travelers who stayed in mid and short-term rentals in 2023 were actually non-vacationers. These are in fact locals and families of locals. These are also folks that are here for temporary work or short assignments like traveling medical personnel, military students, construction workers, many of who will not qualify for Kamaiana discounts. But these are folks that need cooking facilities, need to be close to the hospitals they work in and or near family they're supporting. So while we appreciate the amendment that carves out owner-occupied properties, I want to note that the opposition is not all about income and the needs of the owners, but about those in our communities that need the availability of these types of rentals for their use. Please protect this use and this short-term and midterm rentals for our community. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Lahaina Strong online in support. Good morning.
Aloha. Chair, Vice Chair, honorable committee members, my name is Paele Kiokona, here in support of HB 1838. We do stand on our written testimony, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to address. First things first, 60%, that's all I have to say. 60% of our people have left the islands because the short-term rental industry has exacerbated the housing market and created a space that is no longer affordable for the people to live here. The vast majority in opposition are from out of state. How is somebody from out of state trying to tell us how we govern our place here in Hawaii? Okay, as a Hawaiian of this place, I support this bill because it gives people an opportunity to come back home. And it gives people an opportunity to continue to stay here. All this is a tool. It does not get rid of short-term rentals. All it does is give our people, our counties, the opportunity to govern our place. 60% of our people, over 370,000 people have left this island because it's no longer affordable, because the short-term rental industry has exacerbated the housing market. Your basic laws of economics, supply and demand. You don't have enough supply, you have a high demand, your prices go through the roof.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have the Maui Vacation Rental Association, Kelly Blair in opposition. Okay. Levi Brooker in opposition.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Richard Fernandez in opposition.
He's present on Zoom,
Nope.
Chair.
Thank you. Ralph
he's
Furley.
present.
Oh, sorry. We have Mr. Fernandez online. Ralph Furley in opposition online.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Deb Black online in opposition. Patty Toos online in opposition.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Jason Gerald registered to testify online in opposition.
Not present on Zoom.
Lisa Hall in opposition on Zoom.
She's present on Zoom, Chair.
Aloha.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the time. I would like to make note that this bill has more people than any other bill you've heard today, yet this is being rushed through at lightning record speed, and therefore, just for that alone, this should be...
I'm sorry, we're losing you. If you can move the mic a little bit away from your mouth, that might help.
Is that
Okay,
better?
go ahead. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Before my testimony starts, I'd like to mention that more people today have stood up or have been here against this or for this bill or to be heard, and to have 1 minute to have this rushed through this quickly should stand on its own, that it should not be passed today, and more time should be allowed for the hundreds of people that need to discuss this. Okay, with that said, I'd like to start with my testimony, which was 2 minutes, which will now be 1 minute. 88 days ago, exactly 88 days ago, zoning ordinance 22-7 was struck down in the federal court and was declared unconstitutional. And after that ruling was made, the judge, Derek Watson, stated that HRS 46-4A clearly bars a county from passing a law that discontinues any previously lawful use of a property. Every single United States citizen is protected by the United States Constitution, and every single Hawaiian
Okay,
citizen is
thank you
protected by the
very
Hawaiian
much. Your time's up.
Constitution.
Next, we have Robert Henry in opposition. Online.
Good afternoon, committee.
Morning.
I think it's simple that we've submitted our statement and we stand by that. However, it's very important that you take a look at the constitutional issues that have been presented here, not only by Airbnb, but by council multiple times. This is not a simple slam dunk. You're looking at constitutional issues that are very, very serious. So I would ask you to please look at those things and at the same time understand that it's not about anything other than making sure that you honor the zoning that's been previously granted to people and that you're not unilaterally overtaking their rights as a property owner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have David Hall online in opposition. Please go ahead. Good morning.
Hi, I'm David Hall. I'm a property owner here on the Big Island. I do stand by my written testimony just to restate, this bill, if it passes, it's a threat against the property rights of property and landowners. We stress that the Senate opposed the bill. Again, it deprives landowners of essential knowledge regarding the future of use of our properties, and that is illegal. But it just presents a series of legal and practical challenges. And I do urge the Senate members to reconsider this proposal, uphold our property rights, and promote responsible land use within our state. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take a minute here so that we can get organized online and reinstitute our 1 minute so that testifiers can see how much time they have. And then I will proceed with Lancer Keeling online, followed by Virginia Dutton. Do we have Lancer Keeling online?
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, Virginia Dutton online in opposition.
She's present on Zoom, Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Virginia Dutton. I am a property owner in Kailua, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to present both written testimony, which I did, and come to you via Zoom. And I wanted to say I strongly oppose HB 1838 and its likely, or I would say almost guaranteed, impact on 30-day renting in Kailua. And wanted to say that over the years, during the Marco Polo fire, we opened our home free of charge to people who were displaced. Last year, medical students doing rotations stayed at our house free of charge when there was inadequate housing for them in town. And I'd like you to really consider also, as you move this forward and potentially outlaw 30-day rentals, the people who are impacted, like my housekeeper, who is a legal immigrant from the Micronesian island of Chuuk, who wonders why you are doing away with her job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Next, we have Steve Riley online in opposition.
Present on Zoom, Chair.
Mr. Riley?
Not
Okay.
present on Zoom.
Feli Mendoza in support online.
Also not present on Zoom, Chair.
Aaron O'Mahony in opposition. Margaret Allrand in opposition. Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha kakahiaka kako.
Aloha.
I wish to oppose this measure. I've heard the phrase bed and breakfast this morning. Bed and breakfast is the same as owner occupied. We wish to stress that. And we wish to offer an amendment to this bill. If you pass it, to exempt owner-occupied vacation rentals, short-term rentals. We do not affect the housing supply because we live in our houses. They're not on the market. My house has not been on the market for 50 years because it's a family home. And I'm running out of savings because the DPP threatened me. I am standing up for over 1,000 people like me who own their homes on Oahu. Over 1,000 people. And my reward has been a slashing of my income by 76%. When my house goes up for sale, it will be the end of a family of 5 generations that have known and loved this house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie Austin, online and support.
Aloha. I just wanted to touch on the fact that everybody's saying this could create job loss. And I do want to say, at least for Maui County, there's so many jobs right now. Even what's left on the west side with the hotels and restaurants are all short staffed. And for myself, after the fire, being at my restaurant for 12 years and it burned down, I thought, what am I going to do, right? I've got to pivot. And so I think this bill is important to give our counties the power to pivot if they see fit. Just because things have been happening for years doesn't mean they have to continue in that cycle, especially after the fire for Maui County. It was a realization that things haven't been going in a manner that benefits our people. And after such a life-changing event and daily still having detrimental effects on our communities, I believe it's time to choose our people over the profit of these investors that you are hearing are in opposition. Mahalo for hearing this.
Thank you very much. DeAndrea Makakoa in support.
Present on Zoom, Chair.
Hello, my name is DeAndre.
Good morning.
Makakoa. Hi, good morning. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify. I just wanted to highlight something a little different to vacation rentals and the revenue that they generate through taxes for their counties and states. And those that we want to get
Okay, Mr. Makakoa, I'm sorry. I think we lost you. We will try to come back at the end. Kamana'o'io Gomes in support.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Jessica Bawden in support online. Shannon EE in support online. Stuart
Yes, hi, I'm
Simmons
in
in support. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in support of the bill. My family owns 4 homes on Maui.
If you can identify
None of
yourself,
them
because
are-
we're going kind of fast. Go ahead. Sorry.
My name is Kamana'o'io Gomes. I'm a Hawaiian. I'm a real Hawaiian. I'm not a Hawaiian by STR. My family owns 4 homes on Maui. We lost 2 in the Lahaina fire. Okay, none of them are long-term rentals. The county tracked down that there's millions of dollars missing in the TAT tax. A lot of these STR owners are illegally owning these STRs. Okay, I'm in full support of the governor putting a ban on these STRs, and I believe the county can fine-tune these things. And it's funny to see how people are feel some type of way. You understand how a Hawaiian feels when Hawaiian lands are being owned by foreign entities. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Stuart Simmons in support online.
Hello, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. Good morning. My name is Stu Simmons. I'm in strong support of HB 1838. The bill simply allows for home rule for each county to determine how many and where the vacation rentals should be allowed as each county sees fit. I want to share my personal experience of living with illegal vacation rentals in my neighborhood on Oahu in a loophole that many of you may not be aware of. As some of you may know, a recent federal court decision has created a loophole for illegal vacation rentals to continue to operate. On Oahu, the new definition of a vacation rental is 90 days or less, but the court decision has allowed any non-conforming vacation rentals who are renting between 30 to 90 days prior to the new definition taking effect to continue. What I've witnessed firsthand is these rentals have guests on an average staying only 2 weeks. City officials and others question the property managers. They are told the guests have a 1-month contract, and apparently the
Thank you
guests
very much.
Curley.
Thank you for testifying. Next, we have Sesame Shim in support. We have Camila Jenkins in support online. Leonard Nakua III in support online.
How's it?
Good morning.
Leonard Nakua from Lahaina, Maui. Yes, sir. Yeah, I want Hawaii. I want a real Hawaii, like Brown said. But you know what? So put them in the county's hands to make the decisions about what happened to us in Lahaina. You know what I mean? Hey, get the other guys talking about Big Island. The other guys talking about Honolulu. Hey, let their counties worry about them. Let's go ahead and let our county council members decide. You know, you guys get all you guys over there, but you guys from all over the state. Lucky we get McKelvey over there today. Yes, sir. How you, brother? And get Linda Coy from Molokai. Yes, sir, Maui. But we need to get the people all from Lahaina, all from Maui to make the decisions about what happening here in Maui. Yes, sir. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Holden Takahashi in support online. Eve Hogan in opposition online. Kai Nishiki in support online.
I'm sorry, I'm here. I couldn't get it unmuted.
Go ahead and identify yourself and proceed.
Hi, my name is Eve Hogan. I'm a longtime resident of Maui and a contributing member. I was a school teacher. I run a nonprofit. And I just want to say that we're not all greedy, horrible people who run vacation rentals. We've housed fire survivors right after the fire for free. I have 5 displaced people living on my property right now for free. And I really just would beg of you to find a win-win instead of a hopeful win, which is the hope is affordable housing, rather than a lose, 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 which is what I see happening with the loss of employees, the loss of taxes, and not resulting in affordable housing. Please go after the illegal vacation rentals instead of the legal ones. It's going to decimate some people's livelihood in the hope of helping other people, and it would be great if we could find a way to help everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have Kai Nishiki next. Please go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. Throughout history, many laws that were initially deemed lawful have later been recognized as hurtful or unjust, leading to significant legal and social reforms. A few notable examples: slavery and child labor. For centuries, it was legal in practice in many parts of the world. It was considered an integral part of the economy and social structure. Women's suffrage, racial segregation, colonialism and indigenous policies, definition of rape and consent. These vacation rental advocates are so offensive because they are acting like the entitled, sexist, racist slavers, whalers, and rapers of the past. Thank you for standing on the right side of history, senators, and providing a key to the counties to unlock the shackles holding hostage much needed housing for our residents. Please consider an amendment to provide more keys to unlock the doors for all housing types, not just single family. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. We also have late testimony submitted by Torin Yamamoto in opposition. Do we have him online? Oh, good morning.
Good morning, chairs, vice chairs, committee members. My name is Torin Yamamoto. I represent Hawaii Legal Short-Term Rental Alliance. I did submit written testimony, so to be quick, I'll just give a little bit of in-person here. HRS 46-4 is simply a codification of underlying constitutional principles which create protections for certain vested rights. In the recent Hillstrom case, we did include some constitutional arguments, those very ones, but the court there declined to make a ruling. So the enactment of a bill like this that amends those constitutional or moves to amend those constitutional principles is likely to run into those constitutional grounds once again. So I just want to make that clear to you all. And the fact that cases in other jurisdictions stemming from similar bills that amortized out property rights like this without just compensation were held as unconstitutional. So I want to end also by saying that counties already have the power to eliminate short-term rentals through eminent domain. Should they wish to eliminate the lawful uses, they will likely seek to, and if this amendment is made,
Thank you very much.
so constitutionally without. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That's all the registered testimony we have on this one. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to testify?
I would like to testify.
We'll take the
I
gentleman
did
in the
too.
room first, and then I have two individuals on standby that I can hear online. So please, please proceed. Good morning.
Aloha no kako. I'm Makayo Villanueva. You know, my name is Makayo Villanueva. I would like to address the.
Are you in support or?
I am in support.
Thank you.
And I'd like to address the idea of the constitutional issues or problems that we're running into. You know, I'm participating in this civil engagement under the protest of the illegal occupation of the Hawaiian Kingdom, right? There was never a treaty of annexation, right? So your constitution, you can take them and put them where the sun don't shine, okay? Mahalo you guys for doing what you gotta do to protect our people and the communities that you guys represent. But you know, this is about being Hawaiian, right? And to Hawaiian, the idea of making profit off of a land without regard to the health and longevity of that land is a prostitution of not only an elder, you know, but your family member.
Mahalo.
All right, mahalo.
Thank you very much.
My people connected me to my mother.
We'll take the next individual online. Please go ahead.
All the way back to Mother Earth. You know what I mean? So, malama pono.
Yes.
Okay,
hello?
I think we have Council Member Rollins. Let's go ahead.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, honorable committee members. I'm Councilmember Kiani Rollins Fernandez. Mahalo for this opportunity to testify in strong support of passing HB 1838 today. My written testimony highlights language that would make this measure consistent with your Senate Bill SB 2919. Neither measure would automatically phase out TDRs. They simply provide counties the authority necessary to craft zoning laws that address the different needs of our respective counties. And we can have that discussion further there. The TDR industry commodified our housing inventory and has stifled the county's ability to properly manage TDRs in a way that balances the community's interest for affordable housing and TDR revenue. The sheer amount of testimony from TDR owners, which make about 70% of the opposition, proves how attractive TDRs are as investments. It's heartbreaking that it took Lahaina town burning down, leaving thousands without stable shelter to get this common sense legislation this far. Mahalo to each of you for rising to the occasion. Please pass HB 1838 today. Mahalo.
Thank you, and we'll take the last individual online. I cannot read your name on your.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
This is
please
Patty
proceed.
Coos.
Okay, please identify yourself and proceed.
Okay, can you hear me? This is Patty Toos.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I am opposed to this bill. I want to give you an example. The county has no right to rezone properties at any time. Give you an example of this. I bought a vacation property with right to rent, and then the county has the right to rezone and tells me I cannot rent, which leaves me with a mortgage to pay, no renters to help me to do that, which leaves me also and forced to sell my property and go into foreclosure. This is so wrong. You now have to, you just can't pass this bill. We have already bought our vacation properties. We've already been allowed to rent. And then for you to come down say a month from now and say, we can rezone this and you can no longer do it. When you force someone into foreclosure or have to sell, it's not right. It should be that we are allowed to use our right to do this. Please do not pass this bill. I'm begging you. It's just, you can't take it because, well, okay, I'm okay.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else online?
Yes, I can speak, please.
Okay,
Richard
please
Fernandez.
go ahead. Okay,
Hi, my
please
name
go
is
ahead.
Richard Fernandez, and I do not own a TVU. I do not own a bed and breakfast. Okay, I'm a simple property owner, and it concerns me that because legislators want to become popular, they just will bend the rules and will do anything to possibly take away the rights of people. Okay, the people who bought these properties, okay, bought them legally, they license them legally, and they pay taxes legally. You cannot just whimsically, because of a disaster that happens, start taking people's rights away. Thank goodness that we have the federal government that basically has jurisdiction over the local governments to make sure that people's constitutional rights are maintained. And I tell you this, my parents came from Cuba.
Okay,
They fled
thank you very
Cuba
much for testifying.
for these kinds of
Is there
reasons,
anyone else?
because
Okay,
they
please
start taking
proceed.
away people's property rights.
Thank you very much.
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
Ovao o Nani Peterson. My commerce name is Regina Peterson, if you needed that. I did write testimony late last night, but I wanted to share again what I wrote. I'm hearing so many people in opposition here today, and it hurts my heart because when I look at this bill, I see an opportunity for us to work together at this. Yeah, not separate. It's not about I. It's about us. And right now, I'm thinking about our Maui people that are in detrimental trauma right now, and they don't have a place to stay, to live, to feel secure, to feel safe right now. Yeah, I am in strong support of this bill. And I've heard testimonies from those SCR individuals, and I have to say, shame on you. Shame on you for trying to use our words to define who we are. So you can continue
Mahalo.
to selfishly make profit for
for
yourself and not think about
your
the needs.
comments on this.
Please let me finish this real
I'm sorry,
quick.
we are
I
running out of
apologize.
time in our
We're
hearing.
not
So
a
the
people
recommendation
that
on
think
this measure
about
is to
self.
defer
We
decision-making
think about the
until
betterment of
tomorrow,
all.
March 20th
Ike aku,
at
ike
9:35
mai,
a.m. in this
kokua
room,
aku,
229.
kokua mai.
And if there are
Mai
no
pena
objections,
i hola ka
we'll
nohona
adjourn this hearing.
ohana.
Okay, good morning and welcome. This is our Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 9:42 a.m. agenda in conference room 229 to consider HB 2700 HD3 relating to wildfires. I'd like to thank everyone who's waiting for their patience and unfortunately inform them that due to time constraints, we need to defer action on this measure until tomorrow, March 20th at 9:35 a.m. in this room 229, where we will take in-person and online testimony on this measure. On that note, we are adjourned. Thank you. Okay, good morning and welcome. We're going to open on this Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, 9:44 a.m. agenda in conference room 229 to consider HB 2801 HD1 relating to commercial property assessed financing. Due to time constraints with our prior hearings, our prior agendas in this hearing space, we're going to need to defer action on this measure to tomorrow, March 20th at 9:35 a.m. in this room, conference room 229, in order to take testimony on this measure and make decisions. If there are no objections, we'll adjourn. Thank you.